Welcome back to the Armchair Verdict, and welcome if it's your first time here. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. It will be greatly appreciated. Now, we have a lot to unpack and a lot to discuss here. It's been a crazy 24 hours in the world of boxing. What was being billed as the greatest fight card of all time has now given us probably the greatest shock and surprise of all time during fight week. Daniel Dubois, who was scheduled to take on Joseph Parker, defending his IBF World Heavyweight title, was pulled from the card last night due to illness. Within an hour of that announcement, we get another announcement that Martin Bakole is coming in to face Joseph Parker as his replacement. So the new co-main event is Joseph Parker versus Martin Bakole. Now, all the shock and surprise has died down a little bit, and I want to really just discuss what can we realistically expect from this fight on Saturday night, and how competitive is it going to be? There's a few things that stand out to me from this whole situation. The first one has to be, what kind of shape is Martin Bakole going to be in, both physically and mentally? I know for a fact that Joseph Parker is in tip-top condition. I've been watching his YouTube channel closely over the last couple of weeks, and he's dropped a number of videos showing his training and his preparation. And the guy looks like he's in phenomenal condition and phenomenal shape. Mentally, he just seems dialed in and ready for war. Martin Bakole, on the other hand, we can't be so sure. There's a picture floating around with him online that was taken about a week ago in the airport, and it does look like he's carrying a lot of extra weight. There's rumours going around that he's going to enter the ring weighing over 300 pounds, and that's a lot of weight to be carrying around in a championship fight. So clearly he's not fight ready, and he's not 100% there. Now, I don't know how much I should read into this, because Martin Bakole, he's not like your Anthony Joshua or your Daniel Dubois, muscle-bound, chiseled, Adonis-looking specimen. He's more like Tyson Fury in the sense that he's got the deceptive dad bod, but when he's in the ring, he is very effective. It's a really tough one, but what's more of a concern for me is when this fight was made, I assumed that it was so easy to make and the deal was done so quickly because Martin Bakole was over there in Saudi Arabia watching the fights, and that helped push things along. It turns out that Martin Bakole is actually over in the Congo. He's going to have to fly over on the Friday and then fight on the Saturday night. Now, that's a big factor for me. I mean, it's not ideal preparation for a fight of this magnitude. Bear in mind, this guy, I've researched this, so he's going to have to sit on a plane for over 10 hours flying from the Congo to Saudi Arabia, then get off the plane, and Saudi Arabia is 2 hours ahead of the Congo, time-wise. And as soon as he touches down, he's going to have to do his medical, he's going to have to fill out paperwork, sign the contract, touch base with his team, get them all ready, get them all together, then try and get some sort of sleep on Friday night, and show up on Saturday night and go to war. It's a big ask for Martin Bakole. And I guess if you're Joseph Parker, you're maybe looking at this thinking, Martin Bakole, bogey man of the division, there's probably no better time to fight him than now on a couple of days' notice. It's a really intriguing matchup. Now, the second thing that stands out to me from this whole situation is Billy Nelson, who's Martin Bakole's coach. Now, any of you that are familiar with Billy Nelson will be aware that he has been beating the Martin Bakole drum very loud for a very long time. He'll tell anyone that will listen that Martin Bakole is the best heavyweight in the world, and he can beat any of the other heavyweights. Soon as it was announced last night that Daniel Dubois was out of the Parker fight, he gave an online interview, and in that interview, he was very clear about what he said. Immediately, he was like, we will take the fight on 2 days' notice and we'll fly out to Saudi Arabia and fight Joseph Parker. He didn't stutter, he didn't flinch. He was 100% serious about that idea. You could see it in his eyes, you could hear it in his voice. He had full confidence in himself and in his man. When the interviewer went on to probe him and ask him, where does this confidence come from? He said, we sparred Joseph Parker, we've done a lot of rounds. Based on how that sparring's gone, I'm confident taking the fight on 2 days' notice and going out to Saudi Arabia and winning the fight. Again, didn't stutter, did not flinch. He was 100% serious. Now, if you hear the sparring stories about Martin Bakole, it's become sort of the stuff of legend now. Allegedly, he gave Daniel Dubois a broken nose. He stopped Usyk with body shots. And it's been hard for him because he's struggled to get opportunities. He's been very avoided. No one's wanted to sign on to fight him. Now he's been given this opportunity. He's grabbed it with both hands and he's ready to go. Now, there's people in boxing that talk the talk and there's people that walk the walk. You get these guys that come around. It's like, yeah, I'll fight anyone, anytime. I'm a throwback fighter. But these guys, they're walking the walk. They're really doing it. 2 days notice. Yeah, we'll jump on a flight. We'll go to Saudi Arabia. We'll fight a former world champion. No problem. It's unreal to me. I've got to take my hat off to them. They're not just showing up to take part. They're not just showing up for a payday. They're not just showing up to make up the numbers. They genuinely believe they can go there and do a job on Joseph Parker. And that's what makes this matchup so intriguing to me. It's commendable. I mean, I have to give full credit to Martin Bakole, and I have to give full credit to Joseph Parker as well. I take my hat off to both men. And shout out to Turki Al-Sheikh for making this happen and making the moves, because in boxing, this is pretty unheard of. I can't think of a time where a big fight has fell apart on 2 days' notice and a replacement of this stature has come in to do the job. When they said I was going to try and get a replacement, I wasn't expecting Martin Bakole. This is a big deal. I mean, I'm a big mixed martial arts fan, and this is more common in mixed martial arts, but in boxing, not so much. I mean, my big hope from all of this is that both fighters are taken care of and get the credit they deserve, because they're both putting their reputations on the line at short notice. And I just really hope that, win or lose, Martin Bakole isn't just put into obscurity after that and struggles to get opportunities again. The same with Joseph Parker. If he wins, if he loses, I hope he's not put to the bottom of the pile and doesn't get another shot, because what these men are doing here, they're showing bravery, guts and heart, warrior spirit to do battle on short notice like this. And I hope whatever happens, they're both taken care of and they get a huge opportunity after this, because they've saved this card, and maximum respect from me for it. Now, as far as predictions go, this is a tough one to call. If it was both men on a full camp, I would probably look at it a bit differently. But Martin Bakole, he's a huge man. And this is a 12-round fight against an elite operator. For me, his best route to victory is to just go for Joseph Parker early and try and get him out of there. Try and get a stoppage in the first half of the fight. If he doesn't manage to do that, the second half of the fight is where it becomes really difficult. Because he's a big man. He's not fight ready. He's not been in camp. That's when he's probably going to start to slow down and tire out. And that's where it favors Joseph Parker, and the chips are stacked in Joseph Parker's favor for me, because he is fight ready. He's been through a full camp. And also, he's been preparing for Daniel Dubois, who's a big, strong, aggressive fighter. He will probably try and come out and do a similar thing to what Martin Bakole is going to do. Try and get an early stoppage, try and impose himself early. So Parker's going to be ready for that sort of strategy and game plan. He's not going to make any mistakes early. He's not going to give him any openings. So the longer this fight goes on, the more it favors Parker. And given that Parker's fight ready, he's been in a full camp, he looks in great shape, and Bakole's flying over on a day's notice, I have to favor Joseph Parker in this matchup. I can't see a way that Joseph Parker loses. It's his to win. If Bakole even manages to survive the 12 rounds, I think that we should be giving him huge credit for that, because it's a big ask to do this. I don't think people appreciate what a big deal it is. So for me, my prediction is Joseph Parker by a late stoppage. Bakole's got the power, he's got the ability to do it early, but yeah, that has to be my prediction given the circumstances. And that's the road I'm going down. But I'm waiting to see. I'm really intrigued to see how this fight goes. I do want to dedicate a few minutes of this video now at the end just for Josh Padley and Shakur Stevenson, because at the time I did my original prediction video, that fight was not yet announced, so I didn't get to give a prediction for it. The original fight for Shakur Stevenson was versus Floyd Schofield. Had that fight gone ahead, I would have predicted Shakur Stevenson to win quite comfortably and probably get a stoppage. With this fight with Josh Padley, I will predict the same thing. I believe it will be a Shakur Stevenson stoppage. But as I just said about Martin Bakole and Joseph Parker, I hope Josh Padley is given full credit, because what he's done, again, it shows heart, guts and warrior spirit to step in on late notice and take this fight and make weight, so it's a title fight as well. Maximum respect to him. And I hope whatever happens after this fight, he's given the opportunity to fight again on a big card and give the best account of himself with a full camp. Because all these guys have come together to give us, the fans, the best show possible. So shout out to all the fighters, and shout out to Turki Al Sheikh, shout out to the promoters, everyone involved who's working hard behind the scenes to make this happen. But it's amazing. I mean, you guys, let me know how you're feeling in the comments. Do you feel that this is a better fight than we would have got with Dubois versus Parker? Because in some ways I can see an argument for this for being a much more intriguing matchup with the circumstances. And who do you think is going to win? Do you think Parker's going to win, the fresher man who's been in camp? Or do you think Bakole could just come in and upset the apple cart because he's sort of like not who Parker's been preparing for? He's a very big, talented, skilled heavyweight. Do you think it's maybe a mistake from Parker to change opponents so late? Let me know what you're thinking in the comments and who you're picking to win. And also for Shakur and Padley, do you think differently to me? Do you think maybe he could be a bit of a banana skin for Shakur Stevenson? I want to hear it all before tomorrow night. So sound off, guys, but that's it from me. Just a quick video to go over everything that's happened. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.